Yeah, I asked them for 60K. Yeah. They came back. They said the best they could do was 3. No, 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 not 3,000. 300. I know. Yeah. Well, of course I took it. I have no other choice. Okay. All right, we'll talk later. Thanks. Bye. Welcome back. Thanks for coming. It is the Hotline Show, still called the Hotline Show. I haven't changed the name yet, even though we're leaning towards 1 hour photo. But does that work? And is it just one? Because the sign says 1 hour, but HR photo. So is that it? 1 hour photo spelled like that? Or is it 1 hour photo? Like the movie and the old photo places. Anyway, we'll see. Today is August 25th, 2024. It's the 25th show. Amazing. How we've done it that long. So many memories. Now, it was amazing outside today. I filmed the entire episode outside. And by the entire episode, I mean, I took 2 calls, but 2 good and interesting calls. One about photography, selling out, music on Instagram. You'll see from Will. Then another one from someone named Ithaca about ticks and walking around. And I go off. I think they're kind of long answers. So we're keeping it to 2, and then we're outside and having fun, walking around. So come with me, and I'll see you soon. Japanese cedar. Every time someone sees this cedar now, they're like, and they know trees, they're like, that's a nice cedar tree. I feel like it might be one of those trees where people are learned it, so that when they can spot it, they're just like, cedar. All right, we're gonna take a call from Will.
Hey Noah, it's Will. I had a question about packaging photos for our modern channels, like social media and stuff. And I was curious about what you see as the line that you will not cross to sell out. For instance, kind of what I'm thinking about is like trending audio on Reels, for instance. There's a lot of trending audio that is not to my taste at all. But anytime I dip into the world of trending audio to show my photos or make a video on Reels, I get more views. But the trending audio typically is just not my vibe. So I'm always torn. It's like I could get more views on my work. Should I just make the concession to go with, using stuff that isn't my vibe? I don't know. Lately, I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've been starting to play the synthesizer apps and making my own music for my YouTube channel because I felt like the subscription music services I use, I haven't been able to find music that I really like that fits my vibe. So I'm going even farther into the rabbit hole, maybe for the worst, probably for the worst because I'm not a musician at all. But I was just curious where you stand on that. You seem pretty comfortable with just doing what you do and laying it out there. But, it's a world where it seems like packaging is more important than the images, unfortunately, sometimes. And, I don't know. How far are you willing to sell out on social media and YouTube and all that stuff to get out there more? I don't know. I think a lot of people are struggling with this question at the moment. So, love to know your thoughts. Thanks.
Will, thank you for that call. Really interesting question. Selling out. How much am I willing to sell out on YouTube, social media to get a bigger audience? I don't know if I consider that type of thing selling out. I think maybe like, compromising my integrity, perhaps, is what I would call using trending audio to obtain a larger following. Now, I think all of this is so stupid. I don't think the question is stupid. I think the fact that this is something we have to think about is so stupid. It's creative economy bullshit. It's not art. It's content creation. It's engagement, fucking manipulation or whatever. And I'm sure, what with the music or trending audio. Holy shit. I mean, maybe once in my life I've ever looked at that tab and seen what trending audio is, and the idea that I would use a trending audio track because it could be popular and it would be fed to more people. It's just the antithesis of everything I believe in, and I would never do something like that, uh, unironically, because maybe I might do something ironically if I'm just trying to be some kind of asshole. Um, but it's certainly not about like trying to obtain a larger viewership or to try to go viral. Like what the fuck? Well, who cares? A lot of people care. I mean, and I think you care, and I think it's legitimate to care about these things, especially when you're trying to make a life and a career out of using these tools and to try to use these platforms to reach an audience, which would then potentially make you money. It's a whole thing, and I get it. But as far as I'm concerned, you use the things that you want to use. If you have music you like, you use that. You don't follow trends. If you're following a trend, you're late. Like the last thing any artist wants to do is be a trend follower. That's so stupid. Who follows trends? The biggest fucking losers on the planet. And as evident by the fucking garbage content that we see on the internet right now. Now, you make the trend. You pick the stuff. Will, it sounds like doing your own keyboard shit, making your own music. Fuck yeah, anyone who can and is capable of doing that should absolutely do that. I've always admired and, been jealous of people who can make music, their own, like fully original, content, authorship. If you can shoot, edit, make your music, write your scripts, holy shit, because the margins are getting slimmer and slimmer. Everyone's getting a piece, and the music, of course, is just gonna suck all of the fucking revenue, the ad revenue, whatever the fuck, whatever's left. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I've never gone viral with any sort of reel on Instagram or you know TikTok. I don't use TikTok. Obviously, I've been viral in the past, in a different world, in a different universe, and like I just at this point, I just honestly like don't give a fuck. And in fact, it almost looks like going viral now, which is what getting like a trending video with millions of views almost seems more like a burden than like some sort of goal, something that I'd want to have happen to me. But yeah, Will, I guess you do you. I'm gonna do me, obviously. Look at the view count. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it's just not something I'm interested in. Like finding some fucking pop song that's popular right now. So stupid. I, I I don't know. Maybe I'm old now. I'm in my 40s. Yeah, I'm not cool. I'm not cool because I'm not using fucking whoever the fuck is trending right now. Charlie XCX. Although that 365 song is good. Good, not gonna lie. And I've used that for fun on an Instagram story. Was that trending? Is that why that story did so good? If you post one story, just one post on your story, you get like 20x the amount of views than if you post multiple ones in a row. At least that's what I've been seeing. The whole thing is so fucking broken. Everything is just garbage now. None of this fucking matters. Hopefully you can wiggle your way out of it, make your own life, find the way to make a living, pulling it out. I think I got lucky in the right time early on. Now I'm here. Just gonna try to do whatever I can till I go bankrupt. Which could be any moment now. And at least I won't feel stupid, dumb for using trending audio. I could have been rich, man. I could have been rich if I didn't just use that trending audio of that artist who I've never heard of till yesterday, no one's ever heard of, and now all of a sudden everyone's using it. Like, think about the type of person, like, if you really like a song and then what, you like want to watch videos because that song's in it, but you don't care what the videos are. It could just be anything. Is that how that works? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Compromising your integrity, I say no. Do not do that. Selling out, yes, maybe if it's enough money. You want me to compromise my integrity by using trending audio? Sure. Give me $1 million. We all have a price, right? Everyone has a price. In many ways, I don't think there is anything wrong with selling out in the traditional way, as long as it's not something that is fully against what you believe in. Like, would I do a commercial for Donald Trump for $5 million? Ooh, that's hard. But I would absolutely not do that, even though it's so much money. But would I do, a commercial here in these woods on this wall for Nike? $5 million? Come on down. Anytime you want. Will, thank you again. Always good calls. Hope those Polaroids are doing good. And we're moving on. Let's go. Call. I did change my clothing in case you were wondering. It's time shift a little bit, don't worry. Yeah, I made just a patch right here. It's perfect. You make it right there, but I think we're in the shot. We're gonna take a call right now. Let's listen.
My name is Ithaca, and I'm from New York. Long time lurker, first time submitting a question. So, you seem to walk on your property a lot, and I noticed in previous episodes you had a deer casually hanging by the chicken coop. Do you worry about ticks or have a habit of doing anything to avoid them as much as possible? Okay, thanks.
Ithaca from New York. Thank you for calling. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I love Ithaca, the city. Have you been there? Ithaca is gorgeous. It's one of my favorite places in New York State. I don't know, I've been there countless times, and there's so many great waterfalls. Just down the road a bit, it's a winery that I shoot on Seneca Lake. Just incredible. I love going up there. I should go up there again before the end of the year. Ithaca. But it's not your question. Your question is about ticks and how I'm always out, and the deer. There's a deer that comes to the garden who begs for food. And am I worried about them in general? And I'm going to say the answer is no, not really. I think people should be scared of ticks. And when you're out in the woods, you should take preventative measures. Certainly check your body for them after a hike in the woods. Now, let me give you a little backstory on my experience with ticks. I've found them on my body multiple times. I've woken up in the morning, and I look down at my body and I've seen ticks biting me, in me, burrowed into me multiple times. It's gross. Ticks are gross. I've just been standing around inside, just felt crawling ticks up my arms, like an itch on my legs. So, I'm familiar with them and I've had them on me multiple times. I've also had Lyme disease. And I think this is why most people are scared of ticks. They don't want to get Lyme disease. And I'm going to say if you live in New York, it's not a question of if, but when. I believe you will at some point, no matter what you do, no matter how careful you are going to get Lyme disease. I think potentially there are people who are immune and they'll just never get it, like many other viruses or whatever. Like you could be out in nature all the time and just never have symptoms or never feel like you need to check yourself for it. I went a long time without feeling or thinking that I had Lyme disease, and then one day, or like not one day, but like over time, I was I don't know, I would wake up and I'd get out of bed and my knees kind of felt tight and I just felt like lethargic all the time. And the problem with Lyme disease and the symptoms of Lyme disease is it's just kind of the symptoms of aging. So I think so many people probably just think they're getting older and they might actually have Lyme disease. I think for me, the main weirdest symptom I had was it was making me feel suicidal. I would be driving and just thinking about unaliving myself all the time. And I wasn't even that depressed. It felt like something had like infected my brain, which I think in many ways Lyme disease does. Now, Lyme disease also controversial topic in many ways because a lot of people don't understand it or doctors don't understand it yet or people think they're overreacting. I mean, I was lucky. I got tested once. It came back negative during this period of time when I wasn't feeling right. Then I went back again a couple months later and it came back positive. Then I went on a course of antibiotics. I think it was like 3 weeks or something. And felt better almost immediately, like 3 days after taking it. And I took the whole course. And then I guess I got uh, rid of Lyme disease. I don't know. Some people say once you have Lyme disease, you always have Lyme disease. I don't know if I agree with that. Maybe, once it's inside you, you have it and you just like put it down. I know some people who've gotten Lyme disease and it's ruined their lives. Like it's incapacitated them. They can barely move, they can barely walk. They've ended up on disability. It's just upended their lives in every single way. Nothing works. Like the antibiotics didn't work because if you wait too long, it becomes too powerful within your body and the antibiotics don't work. People end up trying homeopathic remedies, different kinds of things like natural shit. Whatever works, like whatever will help treat it. If the antibiotics don't work, I think go for it. I'm not sure if this is totally your question, but I feel like it's part of the question because people are scared of ticks. And why are they scared of ticks? Because they carry Lyme disease. Well, how does Lyme disease travel? You mentioned the deer. They call them deer ticks because they'll travel on the host, the deer, and move around. That's how they spread. I think that's maybe a common misconception about deer or deer getting a bad rap in this situation. The real the real culprit is mice. Mice carry them like crazy and they they spread around more. All animals have. I bet raccoons got them. Chickens, they don't get ticks. I don't even, people think that you have chickens and they eat ticks. Like, no, I don't think so. I mean, maybe accidentally, but they're not like hunting for ticks. They're so small. I think the ticks are, they'll find any host to move with. Unfortunately, deer are so cute. They got the bad rap in this situation because we named the ticks after them. I have a card identifier. I'm gonna put it over the screen here if I can find it, which shows the size of ticks and the types of ticks, because not all ticks carry Lyme. In fact, many of the ticks that I see commonly are not the tick that carries Lyme. Putting it up on the screen here. But anyway, I guess the point is like they're so. I've been up here so long and I've seen so many. They're gross when they're on you and you want to get them off. But I'm sort of used to it and I'm not scared of it because I've already been through the whole situation with Lyme. That said, this year, so I've been walking around a lot in the woods this year, and like I'm in it now, and especially ferns, and I've been back in this patch a lot over the years. I haven't seen many ticks this year, if any, on me. But it always seems to be dependent on where you are, because I'll be around my property or whatever and walk around and you have a big tick problem if you're just standing inside one day and it's just coming up your arm. That has not happened to me at all this year. So I don't know. Ticks aren't bad where I am here, but just down the road it could be a different story. Now, I just want to say one thing before I wrap this up. Ithaca, thank you for this question because people are curious. They ask me about the tick thing all the time. And also, when I say to anyone coming up from the city or who isn't in nature, always check yourself. It's like this funny, not funny, ironic situation that happens where people who have never been to the woods before go for their very first time and then a month later have Lyme disease. This is just the very first time in nature they get bitten by a tick, and then it's crazy. And then people like Dennis, who we've done a video with, I mean, he'll say he's never had Lyme disease. I think that all of these people who live upstate, old, the sort of locals, if you will, there's, I have this, I don't think, is it a conspiracy theory? I don't know. Like, if, if that's what you'd call it, but I would say like all throughout the Northeast and where Lyme disease is the most prevalent. And obviously, we all know that came from Lyme, Connecticut, is like where it was first discovered, which is across from an island, Plum Island, Long Island, where they do, uh, biological weapon testing, biological testing, but it's mostly for weapons, maybe, or so they say. There's a book about this called Bitten, which I actually do recommend to keep an open mind with. This is where it goes into the like, I'm not crazy. I swear I'm not crazy. Read all these books about Lyme disease conspiracy theories, but it's kind of fascinating, even if you want to consider these options and what's happened with Lyme and how it spread and how we actually used it as a biological weapon against some of our adversarial countries. But that's not where I'm going with this. Sometimes this stuff can sound like fantasy, and maybe it's interesting to think about, and we should contemplate all scenarios. But I have this theory that upstate New York and the surrounding New England. New York is not New England, but everywhere else that's in New England where Lyme is prevalent, there's this attitude with people. Like, it's just kind of like the New England, I call it the New England malaise, where everyone's just kind of walking around like, especially the locals. Like, everyone's just like, tired and little, little drained. Just sort of, they don't really give a fuck about anything. I think it's because it's like we have this epidemic of undiagnosed Lyme disease. And if they would just go and get some antibiotics, they'd feel so much better and everyone's mood would change. And you can see this all over New York, New England, just the way people act. And I think it's Lyme from ticks. Ithaca, thank you so much for that question. Great one. Call back. Thanks for watching. Okay. I'm experiencing a problem with my camera. It's a Sony a7R5. I know what you're thinking. Sony, it's the worst camera you can buy. And it's true, it is. It's fucking awful. All of them are. They've gotten a little better with the 5. The images are fine, right? If you take photos, videos, yeah, it's fine. The camera itself sucks shit. No one should ever buy one. What's a better alternative? I have no idea. But whatever the case may be, for I can't use the back screen. Like, it's on, no image on the back screen. I can look through the viewfinder, I see it. I can turn on the menu and see it on the back screen. But if I'm just wanting to see a live view, no image. And it's not like the monitor find viewfinder on or off thing. I have that set as a setting that I can quickly go to turn on the monitor if I want, just so it's viewfinder. Nope, that's not the problem. Just has decided to not give you a live preview of what you're looking at when you're shooting. It's recording, I think. But all of a sudden, just overnight, it worked yesterday. Wake up this morning, turn on the camera, stop working. And now it's something I have to figure out. I have to spend time figuring out. There's a problem on my other Sony that I use on my desk where the monitor just doesn't want to turn on. You have to shut the camera totally off, wait a second, turn it on, then the monitor will work. But with this now, is it the same problem? Not really, because I can pull up the menu. I can play previews of what I've shot. All right, I don't mean to complain. I know that's annoying. Or not. Maybe this is the engagement stuff, right? Like being really shitty to camera companies like Sony, the worst camera manufacturer that exists on Earth. I'm down with that. I would make this an anti-Sony channel. As someone who uses Sony products, I will gladly just be like one of the harshest and meanest critics to them until they pay me off. Like Will, that's selling out. Phase 1 though, if you're listening, please, anything. Come on. I've been using you for like 15 years. Just hook up some phase 1 gear. Put me in one of your commercials. Pay me a little money. Just a little money. Ambassador. The point is, it's frustrating me and I don't want to do another call. So that's the Hotline show for today. Do the stuff like subscribe, call the number. I've got plenty of calls. There's a bunch banked up. Peter from Germany, Peter from Texas, some other people. There's a lot of names. I meant to write the name so I'd acknowledge that I've heard you. If you have called, I hear you. It's in my head. I'm thinking about it. I want to answer your question. It's just not going to happen today. Today was only 2 questions. But I have it banked and we'll get to them. So please, and it's no offense. If you've called and I didn't get to your question, it might have been a shitty question. I'm not gonna lie. There's some calls that are just like, come on. But that's rare. That's like, it's like 1 out of 20. I've only really gotten 20 calls ever. Okay, thank you. Hope to see you next week. Boom, perfect. Nailed it. Another perfect episode in the can. I think I'll go drive around, take some pictures. But I wanted to let everyone know, I did fix my Sony camera. I hit the wrong button. That was my bad. Nothing wrong with the camera. Actually, really great camera. I love it so much.